Hey guys, welcome back to the Photo Booth podcast. Have you ever had that dreaded pit in your stomach when you're at an event and something is going terribly wrong, something broke, something's not working? That is exactly what we're talking about today and how to avoid that at all costs. I'm Nicole, owner of On the Moment Booth and Own Your Mama Co., and I am joined with Catalina, owner of Modern Photo Booths, Modern Activations, and Photo Booth Mastery. Thank you for joining me today.
Hello
Again,
again.
again and again.
I know.
Okay, so we are talking about being prepared for events, backup kits, kind of all of that, everything that encompasses having a successful event. You've been in business a very long time, 10 years, right?
Yep,
So
10 years
I'm
this
sure
year.
I'm sure there have been so many instances and experiences that you've had where you've learned, okay, yep, I need to add this to my backup kit. Or because
Oh yeah.
that's definitely been my experience in the last couple years. I feel like every event I'm like, I need to add this, or this would be great.
Oh my God,
So
totally.
oh yeah. So I feel like we could talk about hours and have dozens of stories about this. But can you share maybe like one specific instance where you had something maybe not even catastrophic, but yeah, I mean it feels catastrophic if your event isn't going the way you want it to go.
Yeah, luckily, knock on wood, we haven't ever had something super catastrophic, but I'm an over planner big time. I will say that when I started, so Photobooth Supply Co. gave a list of stuff back in the day that you needed for your legacy, and the legacy had like a million parts to it. It still does to this day, right? But it's not like as streamlined as a salsa booth or even like a guac booth for that matter. So I just kept adding and adding every time something would happen. But these were little things, right? And I remember one time we had a printer jam so badly that we almost couldn't get it back up and running. We did.
Oh,
But after that, I was like, I never want to be in a position where I can't offer prints. Like, sure, we can still capture and all of that, but like, let's be honest, most people who buy prints, they really want the prints, right?
yep.
So we actually now bring an extra printer to any event that is more than like 30 minutes away from our office. And if it's during like traffic time, then might even be less. Like,
Yeah.
if I can't drive back and get a new printer quickly, then there's going to be another printer. So most of our printer cases now have two printers in them, regardless of where it's going.
Oh my God, that's so smart. Like, do they both fit in a printer case?
So we ended up buying these like bigger, gosh, what are they called? Oh my God. Pelican cases? Yeah. A
Yeah.
longer Pelican case so that we can just grab some pick and pluck foam out of it. And so now we have
Yeah.
space for two printers in there. Or we'll
That
just
is
send two
so
kits.
smart. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That
Mhm.
is so smart. That's definitely something that I've been considering too. I've done that sometimes if it is super far, like 3 hours away or something crazy. Like I've brought
Yeah.
a second printer. But I've definitely brought not like when printing with Salsa, I'll also bring like an Aircast Pro, like an
Yeah.
extra Aircast Pro, because if something happens to the little tiny little expensive box, like
Yeah.
you can't communicate with your Salsa and you can't print. And so thinking of all of those little components, like all of those extra cords, like how many times have we even seen on Facebook groups, like the DC cable or something like that, like is
I
broken
know.
or someone ran over it with a cart, like accidents happen. And
Yes.
having backups is just going to give you such peace of mind, first of all. I had so much anxiety going into events when I was first starting. And so, as soon as I could afford it, I started getting backups because it just gave me so much peace of mind. It's like, okay, I can breathe. I know that if
My
anything
God.
were to happen, I have a backup. Or, like, if my team is out there, like far away, I know, okay, they have backups of everything. I can stop worrying about it, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's also what makes you stand out from a professional company versus
100%.
someone who's doesn't really care as much, right? Because a lot of times, and it maybe it's not that they don't care. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Some people just don't know, right? There's a big
Right.
difference between not knowing and not caring. But you're listening to this now, so you know now. If you
Yeah.
don't have backups, especially for things that are event ending, like you need to, like something like a cable that could stop your photo booth from working completely, you need to have two of those at all times. And like
Yeah.
for us, any of our kits have double cables of absolutely everything, you
Yeah.
know? I think another one that people don't necessarily realize is the Godox flash, for example. A lot of flashes, not even just the Godox one, has a fuse in it, right? They come with it. Like you get extra when you get the flash, but that's something really important that you need to have in your kit. Luckily, it is something you can pick up at a Home Depot or Lowe's or
Yeah.
whatever. They're generally a fuse that's pretty readily available, but it's still, again, could that's like an hour of your time there and back trying to find the right one, like all this stuff, right? And it's just not
Yeah.
a great experience for your customer either.
Oh yeah. And I think if you think through the entire like setup process and the booth that you have, I get the backup kits would depend too, like on
Yeah.
the booth that you have. So like your backups for salsa are going to be different than your backups for guac.
Hmm.
Some of those things are interchangeable, right? Like some of those you can use on both.
Yeah.
Um, but it is important to think through every single step of the process and think through like, okay, if I didn't have this, would what would my troubleshooting option be here? And if the option is I have to leave the event, then absolutely get a double of it immediately as soon as you possibly
Oh my.
can. Yeah.
Yeah, and some of the stuff in your backup kit isn't even like things that are like event ending. They're just things that
Yeah.
are going to make your life a lot easier that you maybe aren't thinking about either.
Yeah.
Like a basic one that, for us has made a big difference is like alcohol wipes or a screen cleaner. Like how gunky does your screen get? And
Oh,
like,
gross.
right? And you don't really
People's
want to
fingers
go
are
to like
nasty.
an event and touch a screen that's all like grimy. Like it's so easy to just clean that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Scissors. Sometimes you get to
Yeah.
an event and you're like, I wish I had scissors to like cut this thing open or whatever.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
twist ties. I don't know. We have our kits now are pretty like elaborate, but they still fit in a
Yeah.
very small Tupperware container, right?
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah,
it's not that bad.
I have these really awesome like they're made for paper, but they're
Hmm.
about this thick and they're like the perfect size to fit in inside of a bigger bin and so it's I'm able to like keep it super organized that way. But yeah, I have like a
Nice.
salsa backup kit and then I also
Yeah.
have a backup kit for my team. It's just like little miscellaneous things just to
Hmm.
help them. So it's like tissues and Tide, like a spot cleaner and sanitizer, like if you're handling the backdrop frame like the Atlas frame or anything like that and you're not using those gloves that they come in the bag, which I mean like let's be honest, your hands are going to get so gross
Yeah.
and it's happened before where we're like setting up the backdrop and we look at our hands and realize like we're putting these grimy handprints on our brand new clean backdrop because we didn't like wipe our hands or like wear the
Yeah.
gloves. Allen keys too. I know that's on your
Hmm.
list. A little Allen key, so important, even just to like tighten your base on your Atlas. A blackout curtain is one that I always will pack with any of my backdrops now, just because if you haven't done a site visit, you don't know if you're going to be placed in front of a window. And if you have like a double-sided backdrop, like you're going to see through it, and that's
Yes.
not going to be very professional. So that helps a lot too.
Yeah, and that's not one
Um,
we've ever had in our kit. So when you said
really?
that, yeah, well, so we are very like adamant with guests or with our clients that we not be put in front of a window for
Yeah.
various reasons, but especially if we're using, an iPad based ring light style photo booth. Uh, because also like if you're near a window, that means there's more windows around there. And so your lighting is going to fluctuate all the
Yeah.
time. Right. Which just gives me anxiety that the exposure, like, sure, you can set it to auto and all that stuff, but every now and again, if you don't have enough people in the photo or something, like the iPad will decide that the backdrop is what is dictating the light. And then you might get a dark exposure. Again, super edge cases, really nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
But for us, we try to like not even be put in front of a window, but it still has happened to us that we have been put in front of a window despite
Yeah.
that. So that's a really smart one. I think I might have to pack one of those just in case.
Well, and yeah, it's like if you aren't familiar with the venue specifically, like you could also always just call ahead and do a site visit or
Yeah.
like ask specifically. Like there's this one venue that I'll always pack a blackout curtain because it's just full of windows. Like the whole entire space is just windows.
Mhm.
And so it's just inevitable. Like we're gonna be in front of a window. But yeah, that's something I do now. What are some other ones? Yeah, like having that extra lighting too for your guac if you're doing video like or gifts or
Mhm.
boomerangs with your guac, like having that additional lighting is
Yeah.
gonna be super valuable. Yeah, like if you're doing salsa video confessionals, like having a backup smart mic, or what is it called?
The Smart Mic Plus. Yeah,
Is it smart mic plus? Okay. I was like smart plus mic. Nope, that doesn't
you
sound
know.
right. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely having backups of those.
having an extra one of those because you never
Yeah.
know if the battery's gonna go.
Yeah, I wish
Yeah,
I wish hardwiring those ones were a bit easier
yeah,
because I mean, I'm a fan of hardwire. That's why I usually use my Guac for,
for pranks.
any type of video confessionals,
Hmm.
because you get the
Oh,
DSLR and you can control, the lighting a bit more. The Salsa is fantastic for it too, and honestly, we've never had an issue with the Smart Mic Plus. But like again, for me, not being able to see like the battery life or a notification
oh,
of like,
yeah.
even though I like they last like 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah, it lasts a long time. And you
Yeah.
could kind of see it like the little headphone icon in the corner, but you have to like get out of
Yeah.
the dashboard to see it. It's not easy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's better to just have the backup there so that you can just
Hmm.
swap it out easily if you need to, or just every 3 hours.
Yep. And so besides backup kits, I
Yeah.
would say the number one thing and problem that I see new owners making is not practicing.
Oh my
Not
God,
practicing before the
yes.
event, not testing the event before they actually go to the event.
Hmm.
And then it's an emergency. They're on the Facebook groups asking for help. We're like, we're at an event, this isn't working, or they're calling the support side, or
Yeah.
calling Photo Supply Co. Which, by the way, is why I went with Photo Supply Co. because their support team is literally the
So,
best.
yeah.
So fast and so helpful. And they've helped me so much in a pinch too when I was first starting and getting out there and trying to figure everything out. So that
So
is a
important.
plug for Photo Supply Co there. But
Sorry.
yeah, no. So like just even the simplest task of setting your booth up, testing everything, testing the tap to start screen, making sure the assets look right,
Yep.
testing your template, making sure it's looking right too. If you're using like gifs and boomerangs as well as a photo template, making
Yeah.
sure you have like the correct orientation.
Oh,
There's so
that's so important. That
yeah.
one's important because I mean, I've seen so many posts where people are like, why do my images look squished? And at this point, it's at the end of the event. They have
Yeah.
so much going on throughout their event that they didn't realize it because it's like one of those things that's like, it's kind of squished, but not enough for you to be like, that person looks really weird.
Yeah.
And then there's really nothing you can do after. Like, every single guest has already got their digital, right? So
Mhm.
even if you decide to run all of them through Lightroom and fix them, you can't resend them out to the people and they're posting
Yeah.
that. And now that's your work out there
Yeah.
that is getting, shared. And someone's going to notice that people are
Yeah.
squished.
Yeah.
But going back to like not testing, there's a step even before that of like not watching like the most basic setup
Yeah.
videos. And,
Mhm.
this is your business, right? Whether
Yeah.
it's your side hustle to make an extra couple $100 or it's your lifeline, you have full control over what you do and you're given the tools. A lot of people are given the tools and don't use them. Like I will use tools to their fullest extent
Yeah.
anytime I'm given them. So watch the tutorials, do the onboardings, like just consume as much information as you can. And yeah, absolutely test everything that you can because you'll have time beforehand to fix it. But
Yeah.
at the event, like you're panicked, you're posting in a Facebook group wondering why no one's responding. Well, probably because everyone else is also at an
Everyone
event,
else is busy. Yeah.
you know?
Exactly. Yep.
Support
Yeah.
team is there for you for sure. But like when you're in that pinch, 30 seconds feels like an hour,
It
you
does.
know?
Yep.
Like their response time, I think, is under 5 minutes.
It's
But
amazing.
right? But
Yeah.
like again, when you're at the event and you have people going, "What's going on?" 5 minutes feels like a really, 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 really long time.
Yeah. Sure does. So yeah, preparation is absolutely key. Having a backup kit is absolutely key. All of these things will make you just a much more confident person going into your
Mhm.
events. It'll make you like be perceived as so much more professional. Um, and planners are going to love you. If they can
Yeah.
trust you with their event and their client and know that like you've got it covered no matter what happens, that is so essential.
Yep.
And sorry, I lost my train of
Oh,
thought
no, I was
there.
just agreeing with you because honestly, we've gotten jobs many times because a planner or an agency has dealt with a company that didn't come prepared. I remember this one in particular where the client cut their budget, and so they couldn't afford us anymore, and we weren't willing to go down to like what they wanted. I'm like, I'm warning you right now, like for that price that they're giving you is a very inexperienced person.
Yeah.
She sent me a photo of what the setup looked like, and she's like, "Help me. How do I fix this?" Because they had cables everywhere. The booth was like a DIY something or other. They couldn't get the camera to connect at all. And I'm like, you didn't hire me. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
No, and literally that also like, yeah, speaking of like having cable covers and stuff, also have backups for that. Like there's
Yeah.
been some venues that I've come to where they don't inform me before and I arrive and they tell me that you can't tape anything down and I'm like,
I,
okay, all right. So that's when a rug comes in, or that's when like actual
mhm.
cord covers come in. I just ordered some new ones recently, actually, to cover better. There's a lot of variety available. Amazon's amazing for this, but
I love
um,
the rugs now. Like we actually
yes,
don't use gaffer's tape anymore unless we still bring it just in case. But rugs is our go-to. Also, gaffer's tape is insanely expensive.
it's so expensive.
It's like it hurts every time I order a case. I'm ordering cases of like 50 at a time, and I'm just like, I'm sorry. This was how much? Every time I
Uh-huh.
see that piece of tape just roll out, I'm like, conserve that.
Or if you see, oh my gosh, I'm like training some new people on my team and when I see them pulling it out and then it like gets taped together and they just rip it off and throw it away, I'm like, my heart is breaking.
You're like, that was like $3.
Gosh.
But yeah, the
So,
carpets are so much better. And now they're
yeah.
so thin because, yeah, you can get them
Hmm.
on Amazon. They fold up into like a tiny little stack so you can throw them into the crate, your extras
Yep.
crate. And you don't even have to worry about anything. And it looks so much nicer. It just looks super refined to have all
Yep.
your cables underneath that carpet instead.
Oh yeah. I just ordered so I had a Ruggable for events, but
Hmm.
then I found Amazon
Yeah.
and realized that they have washable rugs online and I don't know if anyone knew this. I'm telling you now. If you're listening
Yeah.
to this, they have them on Amazon and they're so much cheaper and so much more yeah, compact. So
Hmm.
definitely look up washable rugs. I think it's so easy now to pack it up and put it in a bin and instead of having a Ruggable, which is like two rugs essentially. They have to like Velcro together, so it's not as
And they're
user friendly.
expensive. They're beautiful, but
They're
they're
so
so
expensive.
expensive. Like I'll get one for
Mhm.
my house, but I'm not going to get
Yeah.
one for people to trample on at an event.
Spill wine. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No, thank you. So,
Yeah.
anyways, we're going to wrap this up. We have a really great resource for you. We're going to link it in the show notes below. It's going to be everything that you need to know about being super prepared for your events and so much more. We'll
Hmm.
also link some of the support site links for like walk replacement parts, for salsa replacement parts. Everything that you should have on hand to prepare yourself for events. Remember, preparing yourself for an event means practicing at home, testing everything several times until you feel confident enough in your event, and then making sure you have backup replacement parts for those event ending possibilities that could
Yes.
happen. So you never know, and it's so much better to be prepared. You'll feel so much better. So
Absolutely. Download those
think
right now. Run.
yes, do it right now, save it right now, add it to your cart. And you don't even have to get it all at one time. Just look for those things that are really, really important and get those as soon as you can.
Hmm.
Um, thank you, Kat.
Great
This is
advice.
awesome.
Thank you. We'll see you on the next one.
See you in the next one.